Dow. It's Monday. Hope you guys are having a good Monday. Hope you had a good weekend and are enjoying the start to what is shaping up to be a beautiful week. We're going to talk about Korea today. We're going to talk about maximalists and some alternate routes that maximalists might be able to take. More South Korea. And we're going to talk about this whole Wazirx thing with Binance. You may have seen this in the news already. And we're gonna, cap it all off with a little bit of Elon. Everyone loves a little bit of Elon. So yeah, let's crack on. But before we do the YouTube stuff. Press the YouTube buttons. Hit the like, the comment, the dislike if you want to. Whatever, it's all good. Hit subscribe. Remember to check out the link tree as well because we've got socials, so you can keep up with us on like Twitter and stuff like that. Join the Discord. We have live sessions. But yeah, let's just roll into it. So August 8th, Korea Blockchain Week. First day takeaways. Let's take a look at it. This is the first day of the main stage event, which has included a keynote from Vitalik. We've had 1inch Networks, Sergey Kunz, Clayton Foundation's Sam Seo. This is the 5th annual Korea Blockchain Week, which kicked off on Sunday. More than 7,000 people attended. This is the largest blockchain event in Asia in 2022. Based in Seoul, the event is set to run its main stage sessions on the 8th and 9th of August. That's today and tomorrow. And there's going to be side events, music festivals, NFT art galleries, etc. Continuing on through to the 12th. So yeah, looks pretty cool. Nice to see real world blockchain related events. Always great to see that type of stuff. I saw Francis Suarez talking about Bitcoin recently at like an event in Miami, and what did he say? He was talking about how it's just this brilliant economic tool, like a tool to drive economic growth, more than just what the technology itself can do for a country. Take a look at what an event like this can do for a country and for an area, for a space, for a city. A huge event like what they did in Miami is a pretty good example. But this as well, it's nice to see this kind of stuff happening in Asia. Who knows? We might see like an Indonesia blockchain week that's huge and has like all kinds of big names flying through. It's just not important, but just I think interesting distinction to observe, note, I guess. But yeah. Let's continue. The event is hosted by FactBlock and Hashed, and is sponsored by Solana, by Clayton, and by WeMade. Key focus topics: DeFi, NFTs, gaming, the usual stuff, Web3, crypto, metaverse stuff. Vitalik has talked about layer 2 scaling and how it's going to make crypto payments make sense again. Today with rollups, transaction fees. I could do a Vitalik impression, but I'm not going to. With rollups, transaction fees are generally somewhere between 0.25. Why did I say that? 25 cents and sometimes 10 cents. And in the future, with rollups, all of the improvements to efficiency that he's previously talked about, transactions costs could go down to about 5 cents, maybe as low as 2. Cheaper, more affordable, complete game changer. Yep, cool. Very, very cool. Web 2 adoption, key to metaverse success. This is what Clayton's foundation director has said. Says widespread adoption of the metaverse, will be easier if Web 2 companies integrate the tech with their products and services. Speaking with Cointelegraph during the Korea Blockchain Week, CEO suggested that the Web3 metaverse projects generally have issues attracting a mainstream audience because people have hesitancy adopting new technology from companies they've never heard of. That's a pretty good point. Yeah, if new ideas are combined with existing, traditional, trusted, credible, and all that jazz type Web2 companies, and he gives like a regional example of Kakao in South Korea. Yeah, no, makes sense. This is why it's so interesting to see these events and the conversations that like come out of them, because it's more than likely you're going to see a pretty interesting observation or pick up on a new kind of what's the word, like a facet of nuance, if that makes sense, to the DeFi conversation as a whole. But moving on from Korea, let's talk about Bitcoin maximalists and how they've been urged by a Bitcoin core contributor, Matt Corallo, or is it Corallo? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. But he's urged the Bitcoin community to drop this whole culture of us versus them. Interesting, which leads to attacking projects other than Bitcoin. That's actually, yeah, okay, fair enough, fair enough. I feel like any, well, I mean, there's pros and cons to that whole cult-like mentality, to be fair. Let's break down the article and see what Matt has actually said. So, there was a time when Bitcoin was the only crypto. Yep. That was not a scam. Advocating for it made sense. Let's find the actual Twitter thread. Okay, so Bitcoin maxis are a dying breed. While there was a time where don't let Michael Saylor hear you say that. There was a time where pretty much everything except Bitcoin was basically a scam. That hasn't been true for a very long time. The smart money has moved on to figuring out which projects are going somewhere, and which ones are straight pumps and dumps, pump and dumps, right? Which ones are like rug pulls and just garbage, basically. There is a particularly damning. Oh no, this is particularly that there is a particular look at me. This is particularly damning to Bitcoin because instead of its most vocal proponents explaining why Bitcoin is great and unique, yeah, they just attack other projects. Yes, so some of them might be scams and may deserve it, but it doesn't help the case. Narrative wars are coming. Okay, so it's an argument about rhetoric and about this us versus them culture that's developed. Many ETH folks, like Ripple before them, will move on to lobbying regulators to make it harder and harder to access Bitcoin because proof of work boils the ocean. Okay. Focus on why Bitcoin is unique, talk about the difference of approach. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's a, macro. Look at it macro, from a macro kind of perspective, POV. And this can kind of be true of anything, of any camp within crypto or DeFi or Web3 or whatever you want to call it. I suppose with cryptocurrencies specifically, you could say this of anything, any community. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of extremely vocal proponents, and they're the ones you'll hear because they're the loudest usually, right? But let us know what you think as well. About this whole us versus them mentality. Are you what camp do you fall into? Are you a maximalist? Are you not? Do you think maximalists should focus more on the positives, take a more nuanced kind of approach to the rhetoric that they tie themselves to? Or do you have a different opinion? Let us know in the comments below. Let's move on again to South Korea. We were here a second ago, and now we've just hopped back. Crypto.com has expanded into South Korea. 2 new acquisitions. So we've taken. Let's take a look. So we're looking at PN Link Co. and OKBit, a payment provider and a digital asset exchange, respectively. So Crypto.com has also secured a deal with the Electronic Financial Transaction Act, an act that creates a foundation for the sound development of the electronic financial industry. Beautiful. We love to see it. Korea has, I think historically been pretty, not ahead of the curve per se. Yeah, but potentially ahead of the curve with like adopting technology. Definitely ahead of the curve with with adopting new technology. So it's nice to see bullish moves on, on the private enterprise, interacting with other private enterprise front to make DeFi related products and services more accessible to people within the economy, which, overall just has like a positive knock-on effect, leads us closer to mass adoption. So anything like this is good to see within South Korea. A lot of interesting stories out of South Korea as well, relating to Terra and what America is doing with the South Korean government to, create better regulation within the space. So just an interesting space with a lot of interesting stories coming out of it. Today we announced we've secured both payment and crypto registrations in South Korea, one of the most advanced crypto markets globally. Eric Anziani was at the opening of Korean Blockchain Week in Seoul today. And we'll share more on this important milestone. Fantastic. We love to see it. We love to see it. Now let's talk about Binance and Wazirx. CZ says Binance never acquired India's largest crypto exchange, Wazir. Although an earlier blog post claims that it did. But yeah, he's denied owning it. Says it's the exact opposite, while Wazir insists that the deal has actually been completed, which is a little bit sus. This is hot on the heels of last week's reports that India's enforcement directorate froze $8.14 million in assets from Wazirx after the Mumbai-based company allegedly broke currency exchange regulations. CZ says Binance does not own any equity in Zanmai Labs, which is the entity that's operating Wazirx. Commenting on the 2019 announcement of the acquisition, CZ has said this transaction was never completed, and that the company has never, at any point, owned any shares of the parent company behind Wazirx. Very interesting. Binance first announced the deal, or the acquisition, I should say, in November of 2019. It was reportedly valued up to $10 million. There was a blog post featuring an image of the two executives from each company. This is the post in question. Here we go. Wazir, Binance. Dun dun dun. We've got the picture. But yeah. So Zhao, what does this say? Interestingly, CZ has since referred to Wazirx as a Binance-owned entity. The acquisition, says CZ, at the time, shows our commitment and dedication to the Indian people, strengthen the blockchain ecosystem in India. Interesting. Well, it seems like they've just, broken regulations, and Binance is just trying to cover their backs, say, no, we don't, we're not responsible for any of this. Here's some facts. If it says, facts in all caps on the internet, then it's got to be. Okay, so Wazirx was acquired by Binance. Zanmai Labs. This is the owner of Zanmai Labs. Okay, cool. License from Binance to operate Indian rupee crypto pairs in Wazirx. Binance operates crypto-to-crypto pairs, process crypto withdrawal. You can check this by going to the terms and conditions, terms of service, of Wazir. More facts. Binance owns the domain name, has root access to, Binance has all the crypto assets, all the crypto profits. Don't confuse Zanmai and Wazirx. Okay, that's interesting. Wazir has been uncooperative with us, says CZ, so he's denied having control over the systems, claiming in February Binance requested a transfer of the system source code, but, it didn't happen. Wazirx allegedly refused. So he's replied to the facts. He said, sad that these have to be debated on Twitter, but, here it is. Binance provides wallet services, domain transfer to our control. We were given shared access. We could shut it down, but we can't because it hurts users. Yeah, I did see that, and it's nice, the whole, it hurts users rhetoric. Let's not hurt users. At least publicly, publicly that's pretty well received rhetoric. So that's something. What do you guys think about this? What do you think the resolution will be? What do you think about the situation in general? Last thing we're going to look at, Elon Musk says U.S. is past peak inflation after Tesla sells 90% of its Bitcoin. The firm may be caught short in the event that markets have already bottomed, if we already have, and crypto is about to boom and deliver serious returns. This might have been a mistake. So Elon has recently sold almost all of Tesla's $1.5 billion in BTC holdings. During a Q&A session at the annual meeting, Musk revealed that 6-month commodities pricing for Tesla parts is already getting cheaper, not more expensive. Trending down, providing a hint that inflation has already hit its highest levels. Interesting. We sort of have some insight. Interesting thing is that most of our commodities, most of the things that go into a Tesla are trending down. This could change, but the trend is down, which suggests we are past peak inflation. That doesn't mean inflation is absolutely going to, go down quickly and the situation is going to be hunky-dory again, but we are, at the very least, the worst of the inflation is like the hike is behind us. The recovery with commodities heading downhill provides fertile ground for a recovery in risk assets, yep, including crypto. Usually risk assets are the ones that kind of bounce back first. Theoretically, this comes as a result of lower inflation, meaning less tightening by the US Fed, providing favorable conditions for risk-on assessments. Interesting. A race higher in the second half of 2022. Markets, no rates are going up. It's the shock that hurts markets, right? Today's job report, not a shock at all. What is this in response to? Markets are sniffing out lower inflation well ahead of Fed. Yep, true. Cool. So that is the sauce on Elon's prediction. That brings us to the end of this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned something. If you have any comments, suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. This has been the Cryptoverse DAO. Hope you enjoyed. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.